Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Here we go. Let's get straight into this breakdown. I'll tell you what, we are starting to get some weird suggestions, and people wanted to see ladies eating chocolate bars or ice cream. And wow, it's a tiger, but it's not because it's panther. And there's some food getting cooked up. What? An aquarium? I am a shark. So am I. Reach out the hand. Arrival. Yeah. It's in the city. I'm walking. Buffalo? Yum. Okay. Think buffalo. Let's go. Oh, the wolf. And you see where this is going. We're not going to watch this whole thing, are we? Tigers? Tigers, more tigers? And the link will not be in the description. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Well, I guess we're going to talk about the end. But one interesting thing to note here, I got a little chuckle out of this when I started watching. First of all, okay, we're going to go through our little sequence with all the little lines and creating layers. That's all good. This is where you would have a lot of fun if you were on this commercial. See how they're shooting this? See how this road here is all in shadow, right? And now this lady's going to walk out of this bank with this panther next to her. And you're going to see a couple gentlemen in the background here. One's going to make the smart move and bolt for it. The other, just a sitting duck. Watch this. This guy's going to get eaten alive by this panther. Cut here. Whoa! My man ducks out immediately. Look at him. This guy. I see you back there. You're smart. You're just minding your own business. You're just having a good time. And then pretty soon, whoop, he's gone. He's gone. And look at this dude. Here. You, my friend, you are not fast enough. You are lunch. And if we roll it back, he recognizes, oh my God, this lady walking out of a bank dressed in all black, trouble. Boom, he's gone. This guy. You only have to be faster than the slowest person, and you're going to survive. You, my friend, you're the slowest person, and you're about to get eaten up. Boom. We cut to a bit of a weird shot. I don't know how you board that up and get that across to the agency, but you do, right? That's an interesting one. And cut to the walk. And now let's see. Yes, breeze, light for the win. Walking around, panthers, yum. Okay, you'll see. I mean, I guess we could talk about this first initial one, right? This is like also laughable because you would be like, man, we got to get this wide shot at the right time. We want the sun over here looking this way so we get a little bit of something, right? We get light to dark to light to dark. We get some interest back there. We want to shoot along this way. And pretty much throughout this entire commercial, very, very slight. You're going to be shooting through things, right? And that just makes it feel like there's another layer there, which makes it feel much more three-dimensional. So that's something to watch out for, but not really important. This one, what I really like, is down this road, shadow, next scene, sun, like full blasting sun. It's like you look around. Is anybody going to notice that it's completely different? No. Continuity. On a commercial. Who cares? What is this, your first day? You think anybody's actually watching this stuff? No, they ignore it in between the stuff that they want to watch. Nobody's actually looking. This is all just a facade. Okay, then we cut to the breezy stuff. Like, okay, like this is beautiful lighting. And this is what you get when you shoot on the shady side of the road like this. You can very easily, because you have to imagine that the sun is over here, right? And it's shining this way, right? It's hitting this back building over here. And that means that if there's a big tall building like we saw in the wide shot here, that all of this is going to be in shade. And if it's all in shade and the light level is much lower, then we don't have to bring that much level from this side. So when we do light it, we don't have to use as much power, even though we're using a ton of power here, right? Let's see, can we make this thing bigger? First try, bingo. Like this is beautiful light, right? Because you have the natural darkness of this side, and then you can pump in light this way. And then you're gonna use the old squeeze and drop here. We're gonna lift her this side of the face, and everything else in the background we're gonna drop so that we're immediately looking right at her. Okay, beautiful looking light that we always talk about. We're seeing all this depth. It's nice and shallow. It's a nice looking frame. And you can imagine if this was on the other side of the road, not possible. This is what separates the good stuff from the bad stuff. If you're on the other side of the road, you're going to have, imagine the sun was over here. You're going to have sun bouncing off of this building in shot and filling all this in. And then when you try and push light from this side, you're going to have to push so much more level because the sun and the bounce equals more level coming from the shadow side. Okay, so that's why. I also like this. Like we're shooting sort of straight on, but then look at the reflections in the windows, right? Gotta be smart with windows. It's always a pain in the ass. And then here, let's put just a neg behind camera over here so we don't get this thing washed with front light. And you don't want any light bouncing back at her. And then this one is like, whew, what are we selling here? This is, you know, breeze light from above. That's how you get this nice little fall off here. And this is like your classic, maybe it's Maybelline commercial. Really shallow depth of field. And then same. I think even the Panther here gets a nice little highlight there. Good job, VFX team. And we keep going. And we're actually going to fast forward through all of this. Like you'll notice most of the time we're shooting through stuff, like I said before. This is the weirdest one. All right, like, okay, I like this one. But we're coming over the top here. We're going to catch Our Lady as she comes in. You can imagine this woman as they are like doing the casting for the commercial. It's like, yes, we got a great idea. We're going to do women and animals next to them. And they're going to be like spirit animals together eating chocolate bars. And you're like, okay. Have you got them all worked out? Have you got all the possibilities for what the animals are going to be? We have most of them down. We're going to have a wolf. We're going to have a panther. We're going to have a couple tigers as well. Okay. Do you know what mine's going to be? We haven't really decided yet. No, I haven't decided. Okay. Well, you'll see in the final ad. You turn on like, Mom, I'm going to be on TV. Watch this ad. They got all these strong women, strong animals. Buffalo. I'm a buffalo? And you can imagine even on set on the day, the director like talking to her. Okay, now, still she doesn't know what animal she's going to be. Just like think strong, think fierce, think power walk in her mind. Do you think that she is thinking about buffalo? Something tells me not. Something tells me she's leaned toward the lion camp, something of that nature, but buffalo is probably not the first thing. Same sort of lighting setup as before, this breeze light, that's how you get that beautiful fall off. But also, even if you look at this, like, okay, remember how we're shooting through things? That's nice. Our little VFX people here, they're not real. Looks like they're Sims people. Now, when we come down here, this one's not all that bueno. But when we come here, boom, still shooting through people with the light over here, right? If we were to extrapolate this, see what I did there with that big word? This is the same exact lighting setup as the normal dining room table scene. Right? If you're familiar with the podcast, talk about different scenes that you're going to shoot time and time again and the lighting setups that go into making those look nice. This is that. All right, we're going to put the light source over here. We'll let it fall back this way so you get beautiful little outline around the person and then dark towards camera. And for some reason here, we're going to fill this guy's white jacket in because agency reported back it was feeling a little bit dark. Well, let's shine a light at our little photographer here. Then it feels much lighter. And bam. Okay, VFX. Also nice. In shadow, this is the same exact setup that we looked at before. Like we need the street in shadow because then what that does is if the sun is not coming into the street, the sun, let's say it's over here, hitting the sky is turning into a big, giant blue softbox and all this soft light comes pouring down here onto the street. And then the only thing we have to do to shape this, also, look, we're shooting through things, shooting through the window, shooting through this little edge of frame here. Makes it really soft. Then all we have to do to shape it is to add neg, right? You can see this shape, this softness comes from the sun not being direct in the sky, right? So it bounces up, hits the sky, comes down, feels nice. The way that you shape it is you just bring in neg to take away all of this light on this side. And we keep going, the look. Yes, I'll have a bike in the window, please. Chocolate bar, yum. Okay, now, this one we can talk about, actually. So we got people running around, racing. This is how you have a perfect line for the action relative to the sun, okay? We know that we want to be, we got two people meeting, right? Here's Harry met Sally, and this is going to be, I guess this should be Harry over here. And this is Sally over here, right? If we put the camera on the other side, we're going to get just washed in front light. We don't want that. We want backlight, because with the backlight here, we get a bright edge around our subject with a dark background. That is what we were going for. We want hot edge, dark background. The only way you get that is if the shadows are coming towards the camera. So when in doubt, put the shadows towards the camera. Then you have the action play out this way. Imagine if you had the action play out across the camera this way, right? Right now it's playing this way. Imagine if it played across camera. Someone would be backlit. Probably Harry over here would be backlit. And then Sally over here, if she was walking this way, she would be front lit, and it would not look very nice for Sally. So as we keep going, okay, here comes Harry. He's looking pretty sharp. Again, notice shadow, shadow, little tiny highlight up here, right? Little tiny highlight on the lion, and we are laughing. There it is again. Now this is, whoop, pause it there. This is what harsh sunlight looks like. This is like a combination of harsh sunlight, and it doesn't look like there's too much fill in there, but it feels filly, right? So you could imagine something over here pushing the level back this way, like a golden color, right? So that is fill. This is harsh sun. And you can feel it's quite, the contrast, even though there isn't, you know, there's probably like a 1.5 difference here between this side and this side. It's not very smooth or flattering. And this sort of feels like the real world. This is like if you go outside and you split your face right down the middle with sun on this side and shadow on this side, this is probably what it's going to look like. It might be a little bit darker on this side of your face, but it's quite harsh, right? Like you get these bags under the eyes. You can see all the lines. You get these harsh shadows here from the little hair. You get this look here on the, is this the best this lady's ever going to look in her entire life? Maybe. But you could probably make it a little bit more gentle. And the more gentle that you make it, the more round it becomes, right? Because this line here, this line that's going right up her face, starts to spread out and not become so harsh, which makes it look more round, okay? So the way that you would do that here, they've just got the sun, it's blasting her in the face, and then we're bouncing back this way. The way that you would get this to wrap around more and to feel a little bit softer and gentler is you walk with a diffusion frame, right? Like a little 8x or a 6x. In this case, probably a 6x is all the size you would need because you only have to cover up her face and her shoulders here. We walk with a 6x, soften this light up, and then from the front over here, somebody else is walking, preferably with something big. But probably if you're working at a lower level, you can have like a little 4x frame, 4x poly, pushing light this way. What you don't want to do, at least in my mind, if I'm thinking about this, is you don't want to soften over here, soften this light, and then fill with a piece of poly from this side. Because then it just flattens off everything, and it makes it look really, really boring. So to get that extra shape, soften the sun this way, bounce from this side, and try and reach it around this way. And then if you're really crazy, you get somebody to walk with some neg on this side to add some darkness, right? And then in the background, you can see, we see a little bit up here, and there's a little bit of highlight, but we want to be shooting into the shadow, which we already talked about. That's why this angle works so well, and that is 90% of the work is getting it to this location and deciding the action's going to play this way, right? That's 90% of the job, because as soon as you have that, you have this look, right? Also, notice in this shot, see this little thing that we are passing by? Just comes into camera, and it just gives you a sense of, wait, we're passing stuff. We're in the real world. She's looking. Yes, we are. He. Hello, Philness, my old friend. We got backlight, straight backlight. That's giving us this harsh wraparound, giving us this little highlight here as well. That's your backlight. And then feels like we're pushing light back this way. So this is a sun sandwich into shadowy building though, right? So this immediately stands out because it's the hottest thing in the image versus the background. You can imagine if the camera was over here facing us, this image would look completely different. There it is again. Even the tiger's got beautiful light. Flare. Yes, I'll have the fake flare for $10, please, Alex. Enter. Now you can start to see the light that is going on here. Got things bouncing all over the place here to try and get in more level this way, because the sun is obviously over here, which is giving us this. But then we need to somehow, can we get some level on this side of her face, which is just somebody holding a poly or like a 12x just up here, and then you just net it off of this guy's shoulder so it stays nice and dark, and then you have them stay very still. Don't move, people. Tiger gets a look. Straight backlight, right? This is straight, unadulterated backlight. Very, very hot, but it works because it's up against shadow. And then if you're going for mood, you just dial back this fill, right? If you're going for a darker image, just take the fill and walk it back, and walk it so far back until the people are offset. And if you don't want fill, if you want it a little bit more bright, we just bring in the fill. And this is what you get. This little ratio to the background is what we're looking for. And release the beast. Yes, chocolate. Yum. This is like the Resident Evil skin look here. Look at the amount of post work that went into this lady's face. Like, she is definitely looking fake eyes and really, really lifted skin. And back to normal skin. And there's a bear on the streets. That's it. Okay, that's our look. Basically it comes down to being on the right side of the line for this walk and talk little moment. And then that little tip about, okay, if you like this, if you want it to be harsh, you leave it harsh and maybe you bounce from this side, right? There's a little highlight there. Something's coming from maybe over the top here. But this is what harsh looks like. And if you want it slightly softer, you know the drill. You know how to do it now. Okay, that is going to do it. Many thanks. And we will see you in the next one.